right, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing our map today. So please have it out ready to go. You do need colored pencils or crayons. We're going to fill it in. So friendly reminder, tomorrow you do have a vocab quiz. Guys, I never record you. You want to sound enthusiastic like this is a good time. Okay? Oh, God. That was even more sad. Okay, so Friday you have a vocab quiz 1 through 10. You have a lecture. On Monday we're doing our primary. You have vocab 1 through 20. And Tuesday you have a lecture. All of the vocab terms are in play. Wednesday you have a test. 31 minutes.
What's the lowest word again?
27. Yeah. Because that's how much time you have on the actual AP exam.
How many questions is the actual?
It depends. It's between 35 and 45, depending on how much they think.
And we only get 27 minutes?
No, they give you, no, you get a little over a minute a question, which will add to whatever the, breathe. Breathe. You have 25 questions in 27 minutes. If it's 45 questions, they typically give you like 48 minutes, but they typically do it so it can be a prettier number. So they typically give you. Yes, it's a standardized test. Of course there's a curve. Jolie, you don't have to beat the smartest people in the room. You just have to beat the average kid. And I'm not talking about in the room. I'm talking about around the world. Do you think we work harder than most people? Yeah, there's a huge curve. Here we go. Can we get back on track here, please? Test on Wednesday. You have 31 minutes to answer 25 questions. Your focus, your map, and primary are due at 8:30 a.m. That's how it's always done. And so I forgot to put it on the calendar as such, and people were just turning it in casually by midnight. And I'm like, oh, well, it says midnight. Infuriates me. You know it's due at 8:30 that morning. You know it. This is not our first week. It is due at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. Is everyone clear on that?
Yes.
What? On the turning in? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This map has been a real challenge point for your peers, and some of them almost were in tears. Yeah, exactly. If you're concerned why, it's literally because they couldn't modify a map in the book. And it really hurt them. Like their brains were exploding. It's okay. We will do it together. Here we go, my darlings. Med Sea. Black Sea. Caspian Sea. Red Sea. Arabian Sea. And this is your Indian Ocean. I thought by now you guys could definitely label a map. I was wrong. People today have been filling out the map this way all day.
I mean, I started it, but my girl was
What? What are you talking about? The Nile, the Arabian Peninsula, the Tigris and Euphrates River, Turkey. What? Yeah.
Oh my God, that didn't even
Thank you, Drew. That makes it even worse. For them, not like me. Okay. All right, here we go. This is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is now with us. Isn't that exciting? It forms after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. This belongs to Egypt. All right. We have Jerusalem over here. We have Amman over here. Amman. Over here we have Damascus. What is the matter? Perfect. Okay, over here is Syria. Over here, we have Baghdad. All right, and over here. Oh, actually, that's so funny. I was thinking Arabian Sea was wrong. This is your Persian Gulf. What a dum-dum. I'm so sorry. I thought that was weird. This is your Arabian Sea. I knew that looked weird. What a dum-dum. All right, Kuwait is over here. All right. So we're going to draw some lines in. There we go. All right, we're going to go back over here by Jerusalem. I'll even zoom in for you. Isn't that exciting? Thank you, Quentin. All right, here we go. So I'm going to draw some lines in. All right, so this is Palestine. And this is Lebanon. All right, so those are the lines we're going to draw in. Whew. Over here, we're going to write in Iraq, because this is Iraq today. Over here is Iran, because that's where Iran is today. And this is what we call Transjordan until after World War II. Okay. We need 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. We have British Mandate. Jewish settlements. In Palestine. And then French Mandate. All right, here we go. Okay, so for the British Mandate, for me, is going to be red, and that is going to be what we will call modern-day Syria. Syria. Today, how's it doing? It is not going well in Syria modern day today because of terrible human rights crisis. Okay, so this is the British Mandate. Now, after World War I, they are going to divide up the Middle East into mandates. Now, keep in mind, this is a huge affront to what they believed was self-determination. This is a huge problem for anyone who believed that they meant to give freedom to their people after the war, like they promised. Now, the funny thing is that as soon as World War I ends, guess what's discovered in the Middle East? Oh my God, do you think that has a role in this? You are completely and utterly correct. Now, the British are really going to support the whole mandate. They're going to support the Balfour movement, which is the movement of Jews back into the homeland of Israel. This is going to be starting to gain a lot of popularity here in the early 1900s. Obviously, does it come to fruition? Yeah, dude, we have the state of Israel. Yes, it does come full circle. So it is eventually going to be successful. But even before the Jews officially get Israel, they are moving into this area to try to push this goal. And they're very successful at getting it. I mean, think about it. The idea has only been really around for about 100 years by the time they get it. Now, keep in mind, World War II is going to play a huge role in this because what atrocity will occur during World War II? The Holocaust. And it's a pretty solid argument when you're like, hey, we should get a homeland. Look what happened. You guys didn't do anything during the Holocaust. And they're like, yeah, you're right. And that's how a lot of people are going to justify their creation of Israel. Okay, so there was movement on the cause before World War II. However, World War II is obviously going to cement it, so countries like the United States are going to throw their might behind it as an apology to the Jewish people for allowing that atrocity to occur. So, the first action of the United Nations, oh my God, is that the ruling body we all live by today to a degree? Yes. They are going to be the first motion is the creation of the state of Israel in 1941 as an apology to the Jewish people. You've got about 2 minutes to finish coloring in your map. That's it. That's all you need. Okay, so that is going to be a huge transition for this region is the creation of the state of Israel. Obviously, it's going to be supported by the West. Now, the mandate system is going to be a huge, I hate you, by the Western world to their colonial powers. Keep in mind the idea of self-determination and nationalism, the belief that your own rule should be by people who share your culture and beliefs is going to be a huge thing that lots and lots of people want. And it's all over the Treaty of Versailles, which was written by Woodrow Wilson. However, once it comes down to it, the West backs off and says, well, we'll get you next time. And that is really going to piss a lot of people off. So this decolonization thing is starting but hasn't finished. And it is once again delayed. And that's what we're going to start seeing really in a much bigger way going forward. Once we get through World War II is when we start having decolonization in a massive way. The British are going to lose tons of territory, and a lot of territory they didn't want to give up. For instance, Egypt at the moment is still controlled, well, not at this moment, but until 1954, Egypt is controlled by the British. And the British don't want to give it up because what important thing is in Egypt? Zach? Huh? What? No, guys, what was built there in the late 1800s? The Suez Canal, guys. It controls worldwide trade. Guys, we know that if the Suez Canal gets jammed up, doesn't worldwide trade stop? That happened a year ago. Isn't that insane? That was only a year ago. Oh my God. It was about a year ago. Yeah, it was in 2021.
Oh, but like, it was less than like 12 months ago, right?
I don't know exactly when it happened. I couldn't believe it was only in 2021. I thought it was further back.
I thought it was like 4 months ago.
4 months ago?
Yeah.
There was a ship that got stuck for like 12 hours. But I'm talking about the one that got stuck for like 3 weeks. That one was in 2021.
Did they have to pay like reparations?
Yeah, they have to pay a ton of money. All right, guys, you've got about 30 seconds. And then we're flipping. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're doing the approaches to the modern industrial society. Communism, economics of communism is believed that businesses should be owned or managed by the government. Okay? Communism believes that communism supported internationalism, which means helping other nations and blending nations by opposing colonialism and calling for global worker solidarity. War and Peace, they believed that international peace would come from defeating capitalism. Equality, communism supports both political and economic equality. Religion advocated atheism. And what is atheism? Yeah, no religion. All right, capitalism. Believed businesses should be owned privately and compete with each other. International, it supports a mixture of nationalism and internationalism. War and Peace, it expressed mixed attitudes towards war and peace. You know. Equality supports political equality, not economic equality. Huh? Like everyone has the right to vote, everyone has, deserves to be heard by their government. Well, economic equality is not everyone deserves to have a lot of money, only if you earn it. Religion allows individual religious liberty. Fascism believed businesses should be owned privately and government should restrict competition. Next, support nationalism, obviously. Strongly by urging each nation to pursue unique interests. What? Supported nationalism strongly by urging each nation to pursue its unique interests. War and Peace, opposed peace. On the belief that it weakens society. Equality, opposed both political and economic equality. and used religion to build nationalism. If you could pick one to live under, which one would you pick?
Capitalism.
So the problem with communism is that you have to understand it always gets perverted. It's always manipulated to the leader of that country, and they manipulate it to the ways that serve them. Now, keep in mind, capitalism does as well, and of course, fascism does. But communism pulls itself farther away from its original core beliefs. Does that make sense? That's the problem with it. Now, all of them have problems, but the problem is with communism is that there's never been a really true believer who really got communism off the ground. Does that make sense? You have people who use the idea of communism and the beauty. We can all agree, communism is beautiful. The idea of everyone is equal, everyone works together, everything is shared. That is really beautiful. Is that really human nature? Is that how we function? So, this one is the easiest to perverse and goes to the extremes. Capitalism is just harsh and cruel and cold. But there is a system to it. Does that make sense? That there is a way to climb out. And fascism... Ugh. Anyway, here we go. All right, causes of World War I. 2. Sorry. We've already done 1. All right. Diplomatic, the imbalance of the Treaty of Versailles. Who does it blame for everything? And is that fair? No, absolutely not. Because if anyone's fault, it's Russia's. Because they're the first major player to get into the war without needing to be there. Next one is failure of appeasement. Okay? The British and the French are constantly giving in to Hitler, saying, hey, we'll give you this, just don't take any more. Yes, the Treaty of Versailles was rude, but you can't do anything else. And Hitler just kept saying, mine, 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 mine. Okay? Failure of the League of Nations. The League of Nations had no ability to go ahead and actually defend what it was saying. It would just put sanctions. Today, in 2022, if the UN does something, there's a UN military force. There's a paranational military force that goes and enforces. The League of Nations had no ability to force, and the beginning of the end of the League of Nations is when Mussolini invades Italy, and the whole world's watching and being like, no, when Mussolini invades Ethiopia and no one does anything, and Mussolini does horrible things, and everyone's just like, oh, League of Nations is going to do anything? Then here we go. All right, economic. Global depression. If things are bad, people are willing to listen to crazy people. Can we agree? If there was no global depression, Hitler would have never rose to power. But when times are tough, people are willing to listen to crazy people because they say things that they like and make them feel special. So if there was no global depression, there would be no fascism. If there was no fascism, there would be no Hitler. Now, there would probably still be a war, but other problems. Political. Japan's militarism. Japan is growing out of control in Asia, and no one is checking it. That is a huge problem, and all of a sudden when the Europeans look over there and they see how much Japan has taken over, it's a huge threat to their power as well. And Germany's militarism and the rise of Hitler. Okay, so Germany's conquering all this territory, building up a massive military. In the Treaty of Versailles, he was banned from Germany's banned from building up a military and banned from building up an air force. And when he does it and no one says anything, he just keeps going. All right, guys. How are we feeling? All right, why don't you take a picture of it and post it and be done with it?